On the topic of efficiency, it's a common desire for people in today's society to want to make the most of their time and efforts. We only have 24 hours each day, and if you block off the time we spend for sleep, which probably the average is maybe 8 hours, the time we spend for work, another 8 hours, that leaves us just 8 hours remaining in any given day to fit in whatever other activities or goals we want to accomplish. And this is not even factoring in things like commute time, meal times, entertainment time, just relax and chill time. And so in relation to working out and exercise, we don't want to be spending a lot of time in the gym or a lot of time working out if we don't have to, if it can be avoided, which brings the necessity of efficiency. And the way I see it is, in order to be efficient with workouts, it helps to have a good tempo. What I mean by that is looking at how much time we actually spend doing the lifts, the exercises, how much time we spend in between exercises or lifts, such as for rest time, how much time we spend getting ready to lift, how much time we spend post-workout recovering and doing other post-workout things, cooling down, stretch, icing down, etc. And so when we look at how much time we actually spend working out, in order to be efficient, we want to try to find areas where we can cut off excess time that's being wasted. We want to be able to move from exercise to exercise or lift to lift with the least amount of time, or at least the minimum that is necessary and nothing more. We don't want to be wasting time if we can avoid it. Now I'm going to look at the workouts done in the gym first, and ways to be efficient by monitoring the tempo, how quickly we're doing things basically. So in the gym, it's pretty much a wide open space with all the different machines and activities. So walking to one machine to another, or one setup to another, one bench to another, or a rack, squat rack or power rack to another, it already is included in the time, but we can't really do much about that. We have the time spent going from one to another, and setting up that station too is already given, so we can't really change that too much. What we can really control with tempo is how much time we spend on each lift, the actual lift themselves. So we want to be efficient by doing, I guess, the least amount of moves that are necessary to perform the lift or exercise, adding or subtracting weights, setting it up, the station, in as quick as possible way, doing or using an economy of moves, an economy of steps. And also, once we look at the time we spent actually lifting, we also look at the time not lifting, so resting in between sets. And what are we doing then? Are we spending too much time sitting around when we don't really need that much rest? So the thing about gyms, which is nice, is they always have a clock everywhere, and so you can always look at the clock and just count off 30 seconds to a minute, however long you need between sets. Sometimes it may be 1.5 minutes. So we want to look at that and cut down on some of the excess time that we're wasting. So basically, ideally, it would be best to be efficient by getting in and out of the gym in using as much time as is necessary and nothing more. So sometimes that may be avoiding social activity or technology, cell phones, etc., where it may be distracting as opposed to helping. Usually when I'm in the commercial gym, it's always either lifting or in between sets, getting ready for the next lift, either loosening up, stretching up some more, adjusting the equipment like shoes or knee sleeves, getting the weight ready, and usually I keep my eye on the clock pretty frequently so I don't waste too much time. And the other thing is, based on how we split our workouts, we don't want to be caught doing too many exercises when really those extra exercises are not going to really help. It's just going to be like kind of a law of diminishing returns, where the more you do, it's not going to really benefit as much. So if we have a good split as far as workouts, we can spend as much time as is necessary in the gym. For me, whole body workouts, it does take some time, but I don't do a bunch of different exercises that I don't deem necessary. So the big lift, squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, and a few accessories. And I'm working on being more efficient in the gym, taking less time. Now as far as home gym, it's a little bit easier because you don't have a big space, so you're confined to a small area. You don't waste a lot of time moving around to different spaces. It's all about just setting up the different stations and exercises at home. And I don't really have a clock in the garage gym, so what I do is use other frameworks to keep track of time. So when I do the big lifts, most of the main lifts actually, I film, so I just set the camera, do the lift, and then however much time it takes to do the lift, somewhere between 30 seconds to 1.5 minutes per set, I rewatch the film. So during the time I'm rewatching the film, that gives me 30 seconds to 1.5 minutes, because that's how long it took to do the lift. That's how long it measures on the film. I watch the film, and that's my rest time right there. And while I'm watching the film, I'm readjusting the equipment, resetting the weights, adding or subtracting weights, adjusting shoes, knee sleeves, other equipment, what have you. And that's how I monitor my in-between time. Now as far as start and stop, I pretty much do the same routine all the time, so that helps me keep things around the same time. I've been running anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours of total time, including the warm-up and the cool-down, pre-workout and post-workout routine. And by doing the same thing pretty much consistently, it helps me to keep within the same time frame each time. And one other thing that helps me is using a workout playlist. I always use the same workout playlist for the most part, and it's like usually like an hour and a half long. So I start the playlist and it repeats. So once it gets back to the first song on the list, that means I know it's gone through the whole cycle of like an hour and a half or so, and I know that if I'm already back at the first song again, I need to pick things up and wrap it up as soon as I can. And that's just another way to indirectly monitor time. It helps me be efficient, and that's pretty much how I keep things in a reasonable amount of time and don't waste excess time doing other things that may not be helpful, and don't let things go too long. So that's my best way to be efficient, just monitoring tempo, how much time I spend doing the lift, how much time I spend in between lifts, and trying to move like pretty quickly as I can. Sometimes rest takes a while, but keep monitoring tempo, moving quickly between, not having any excess or wasted time. And that's pretty much it for the video. Thanks for watching.